Hi, everybody, and welcome to Module 4. We are going to be doing our usual walkthrough this week. You are getting close to being halfway through the class, so you should be really proud of yourselves, and I just wanted to say congratulations. I enjoyed our discussions last week on language and culture and the self. They were very thought-provoking. So let's take a walk through Module 4 together. Go ahead and click on the Module button and then scroll down until you get to Module 4. You'll see that the title of this module is called Errors in Critical Thinking and Informal Fallacies. Click on the Module 4 Learning Pathway, and you'll see that this is giving us a bit of an overview about what informal fallacies are all about. Some of you may be familiar with them, or maybe you have not heard of them before. Maybe you and fallacies have not crossed paths, but I guarantee by the end of this module, you will be identifying fallacies everywhere. So we're going to be exploring some definitions and different communication styles, from the kind of passive communication style to a more aggressive style. We're going to be looking into gender, race, and culture more, and talking a little bit more about those key ideas that you addressed in Module 4. Remember, all these modules are building on one another so that you can put together the best final project that you can. So we're going to be covering chapters 4 and 5 in our book. We're going to be reviewing different kinds of errors in critical thinking, informal fallacies, and we're going to be taking a look at what constitutes an argument and how to evaluate an argument. You've noticed that I've posted some extra things in our classroom about some of the critical thinking skills that we've been working on. I posted a video on synthesis and a video on analysis, and I'll just keep covering those key pieces, and you can, of course, find information on those things in the feedback that I'm giving to you every week for your assignments. So if you scroll down, you'll see the order of operations for this week. The required readings, of course, come first, and the module notes on errors in critical thinking and informal fallacies. And then there will be a discussion on errors in critical thinking. Take a look at chapters 4 and 5, and you'll be having that Smart Book quiz. And then we will be working on part 2 of our reflective essay. So notice that our discussion post is due on Thursday as usual, and our replies are due on Sunday. And then the Smart Book quiz is due by Sunday, and the final project part 2 is also due by Sunday. So scroll down and click the next button, and we'll walk through those pieces together. So you will see that there are some required readings, the module notes in chapters 4 and 5, which I mentioned. But then also, if you scroll down, you'll see some different videos that you can view, and the transcripts are there with the videos if you prefer to read through them or you need to read through them. Go ahead and click the next button. And these are the module notes, as I mentioned, when we were going over the learning pathway. And so we are going to be thinking about these different things. And as before, you might keep a journal and answer all of these questions in your journal, just brainstorming about them to further your learning, even though you won't be answering all these questions formally for the class. So as you can see, you're going to be answering questions like, what are some sources of knowledge? In what ways can experience be misleading? Some different kind of cognitive and social errors in our thinking. And then we'll be looking at different types of fallacies. So if you keep scrolling down and then click the next button, you'll come to our module 4.3, Errors in Critical Thinking activity in which you have to answer one of the questions below. These are set up like the other discussions, so they should look really familiar to you at this point. And so the purpose of this activity is going to be to discuss the common errors in critical thinking and informal fallacies. So you'll need to have read through the textbook before you can compose this discussion. Go ahead and click the next button. And that brings us to the instructions for your SmartBook quiz on chapters 4 and 5. And so this is, of course, the McGraw-Hill Connect that you'll be taking a look through. And it's a knowledge check to make sure that you're able to identify these new concepts that we're covering before you move on to the next part of the class. So click the next button, and then you will come to the page called Knowledge, Evidence, and Errors in Thinking. And that is, of course, where you will find that textbook material. So if you click the next button, that'll bring you from chapter 4 to chapter 5 on informal fallacies. So you'll see there are two different ways of accessing our text, first chapter 4 and then chapter 5, because we're doing 2 chapters this week. And then if you click the next button, it'll bring us to the final project, part 2, the reflective essay. And let's take a quick look at what is expected in this next section. So you will be applying information from chapters 4 and 5 to this part of the final project. You'll be looking at how a stage 2 approach in cognitive development applies here and identify its limitations. You'll be identifying 3 of your own cognitive and social errors and how they might interfere with and affect a strategy for tackling your challenge. You'll discuss how a distorted sense of control has had an impact on your ability to achieve your life goals, and come up with 2 critical thinking strategies you could use to correct for this cognitive error. You'll identify 3 or more common fallacies that you are most likely to commit and how they interfere with the successful strategy of the challenge that you're discussing. And then you will identify 3 of the most effective strategy for avoiding these fallacies. So you'll be working with the same topic that you worked on in part 1 of this project. We're just going to be applying some new concepts to it. But if you have any questions about that, you can certainly shoot me an email and I'd be happy to assist you. I just wanted to bring your attention to some things that are towards the bottom of the page. If you scroll down, some of you were having a little trouble with your formatting in APA. So I wanted to mention that these resources are here for you on APA style. You've also got some resources on how to start your research, how to find answers, how to research strategies that you can use, tips, and so forth. So I think it's worth clicking on those links just to read through them and make sure you have all the tools in your tool belt that you'll need to be successful for this project. If you keep scrolling down, you'll notice that there is the rubric there that you can look through and use as a checklist to make sure that you have completed everything. And it goes into quite a bit of detail as to what we're looking for in this project. And so if you click the next button, you'll notice that that takes you right over to Module 5. So that's a wrap for Module 4. And I will be posting the next video for Module 5 next week. Good luck and have a great week.